A lot of the videos I make are stupid, so warning. Also, major spoilers ahead for, well, everything. Alright, so many of you may not know the influences the Cold War had on many of the movies and pop culture back in the ancient era. So, I don't know, let's just get right into this.
Planet of the Apes was an iconic film at the time of its release in 1968. The story revolved around a team of astronauts, including the protagonist George Taylor, when they put themselves into cryosleep. They wake up a couple thousand years later and crash land on an alien planet. The planet is inhabited by tall ape-like figures in their own advanced society. There are many prisons in the movie harboring people who seem to be cavemen. Human-like people were treated like outcasts in their society, and they lashed out on George many times in the film. The movie was critically acclaimed for the original plot and thrilling story at the time. However, the film is most remembered for its ending. The movie ends with one of the most memorable twists in Hollywood history up to date. When George is finally free from the imprisonment and tyranny of the apes, he heads off on a horse with an escaped humanoid. When he comes to a horrifying discovery,
I'm back. I'm home. All the time it was. We finally really did it. You maniacs! You blew it up! God!
after a lot of screaming bad words at the world, the movie cuts to the credits with the realization that they were not an alien planet, but rather Earth itself, years after its own demise. According to the movie producers, a nuclear war weakened humanity, which thus allowed apes to evolve and take control and dominate over the Earth. Fear of nuclear conflict were common at the time, and the ending of the film reflected greatly on the dark mood of 1968, which also included the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr., as well as the bloodiest year of the Vietnam War.
One of the most iconic film trilogies in cinematic history, Star Wars became one of the most defining film franchises of the century, getting a total of 10 movies, with 2 more planned to be released in the near future. The very first film in the franchise was released in 1977 by George Lucas, which followed the story of a boy named Luke Skywalker who later discovers 2 renegade droids harboring secret plans for the Rebel Alliance. Luke must learn how to hone in on what is called the Force. He must fight his way through oppression and from the Empire, and 2 movies later, he ends the rebellion once and for all. Never mind. However, there's one giant planet-sized problem standing in the way of Luke and success: the Death Star, a giant sphere capable of destroying planets with one shot of its menacing green beams. And Luke must get plans to the Resistance telling them how to destroy such a thing. The power of the Death Star is shown when one of the characters, Princess Leia Organa, is taken into custody and forced to watch the giant space ball blow up her homeworld, Alderaan.
Provide us with the location of the rebel base. I have chosen to test this station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan.
No. Alderaan is peace, but we have no weapons. You can't
You will
possibly...
prefer another target, a military target? Then name the system. I grow tired of asking this, so it'll be the last time. Where is the rebel base?
Dantooine.
They're on Dantooine.
There. You see, Lord Vader? She can be reasonable. Continue with the operation. You may fire when ready.
What?
You're far too trusting. Dantooine is too remote to make an effective demonstration, but don't worry. We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
Oh.
Commence primary ignition.
Now, George Lucas is an amazing director, probably one of the best. Oh wait, never mind, he made the prequels. I take that back. Most aspects of Star Wars were based on historical events. George Lucas once said, "I love history, so while the psychological basis of Star Wars is mythological, the political and social basis are historical." The looming threat of total nuclear war was hardly history when Star Wars originally hit the theaters in 1977. The threat to the planet posed by nuclear weapons was encapsulated on the screen in the ultimate weapon of mass destruction, the Death Star, which we saw destroy Alderaan, which looked incredibly like Earth. Don't cry, Leia, don't do it. The term Death Star even came from the appearance of what a nuclear mushroom cloud looked like, a bright cloud of death, brighter than the stars in our sky. The term Star Wars actually became part of Cold War history when President Ronald Reagan proposed a way of defending the United States through the power of laser-guided weapons.
I call upon the scientific community in our country, those who gave us nuclear weapons, to turn their great talents now to the cause of mankind and world peace, to give us the means of rendering these nuclear weapons impotent and obsolete.
Many of you know his name. The original story of Superman dates all the way back to 1939, when two writers and illustrators conceived the idea of a cape superhero capable of flight, super strength, and many outstanding abilities. Many films and TV shows depicted Superman, but none as well as the original Superman movie of 1978. When the movie became a box office success, well, why not create more? So, that's exactly what they did, and they're okay. And that's a professional fact, and that's not an opinion. The story, budget, and quality of the film went downhill. With the commercial failure of Superman 3, the lead actor for Superman, Christopher Reeves, stepped in and made a suggestion for the fourth and final film. He wanted to bring a level of social responsibility by addressing the nuclear arms race at the height of the Cold War. That's how he got Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. And that's how Superman died.
Yeah, I can confirm this. All other Superman movies kinda sucked.
And thus, Superman ripped in peace forever, since no other good Superman came out since. Oh yeah, back to Superman 4. Although there are many allusions to the Cold War in the film, I believe that this scene tells more than most. Now keep in mind that Superman is a symbol and ultimately a personification of the American spirit. Or whatever, he is an American hero. So yeah, America, show clip.
Madam Secretary, honorable delegates, ladies and gentlemen. For many years now, I've lived among you as a visitor. I've seen the beauty of your many cultures. I felt great joy in your magnificent accomplishments. I've also seen the folly of your wars. As of today, I'm not a visitor anymore, because the Earth is my home too. We can't live in fear, and I can't stand idly by and watch us stumble into the madness of possible nuclear destruction. And so I've come to a decision. I'm going to do what our governments have been unwilling or unable to do. Effective immediately, I'm going to rid our planet of all nuclear weapons.
Definitely tells kids, who are a big part of audiences' demographic, how nuclear bombs were bad, and how peace on Earth and even peace of mind can only be achieved netting up all nukes and swinging it into the sun. Yeah, nice aim. That's throwing all the world's nukes, one entire astronomical unit away, and yet he hit the sun perfectly. No wonder he died. He's too overpowered. Just nerf him.
Space, a final frontier.
With the franchise's conception in the mid-60s on PBS, so many films have been made to quench the unquenchable thirst of nerds like me. The movies and TV series follow the story of Captain Kirk, a human captain captaining the ship called the USS Enterprise. I don't think captaining is a word. They are representatives of the United Federation of Planets. Wow, I sound like a nerd. And their sole goal is to bring peace and balance to the Force. No, wait, woo. And their sole goal is to bring peace and balance to the universe. That's what I meant to say. They do this through an assortment of diplomatic missions, rescue operations, and other military projects. In the 70s, writer and mother of the whole Star Trek universe, Gene Roddenberry, writes up plans for a cinematic franchise. The first movie was terrible. Don't watch it. The second one was critically acclaimed by all nerds to be the best movie ever. Quality acting. The movie ends with my most favorite character dying. Rip in peace, you green-blooded, pointy-eared, emotionless, logical, copper-based life form.
I have been, and always shall be, your friend.
And with that, Spock was dead. Or was he? Welcome to Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. It follows the last movie's footsteps. An experimental thing lands on a dead moon and gives it life and whatever. The pod-carrying Spock's dead course landed on that moon as well, so the experiment, Genesis, as the name suggests, gives new life and new beginnings. The dead moon teamed with life and resurrected Spock in the process, but the planet aged rapidly as well, and so did Spock. With the planet on the brink of destruction, Captain Kirk must get Spock back, who is kidnapped by Klingons, a warp-based alien race with pointy foreheads. The Klingons promise to give Kirk his friend back if he gives them Genesis, which ultimately have destructive properties. Now, before I show you the characters' confrontations in this scene of the movie, it's important to note this. There are three main factions in the Star Trek universe: the United Federation of Planets, the Klingon Empire, and the Romulan Empire. All three factions were inspired by the three factions of the Cold War. Gene Roddenberry says that he based the Federation off of America, the Klingon Empire off of Soviet Russia, and the Romulan Empire after China. Yeah, go China! But in this clip, just take into account that Kirk represents America, and the Klingon, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, and the Klingon represents Soviet Russia. Here's the clip.
You fool, look around you! The planet's destroying itself!
Yes, exhilarating, isn't it?
If we don't help each other, we'll die here!
Perfect! Then that's the way it shall be!
Oh, you dirty little communist.
Give me your hand! I have had enough of you!
Need I say more? America just kicked communism into a lake of fire. End of story. Goodbye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.